Welcome everyone to the show and state my name. Stock introduction that each episode is either a solo episode or an episode with one or more guests. Express surprise that this is a bonus episode I've released on the same date 3 years in a row. Explanation for why I'm excited to share this episode. Citation of the title of the paper and read off each of the authors. Apologize for potentially mispronouncing names. Begin quoting the abstract, which includes, quote, a statement of the problem that is contextualized within prior work, a summary of the data generated and methods used to analyze said data, 2 key findings, and a sentence explaining why these findings are important, end quote. Summary of the paper in a single sentence. Explain where to find the show notes, as well as gaming and drumming content. Highlight that Boot Up PD makes this podcast possible. Abrupt interruption from today's sponsor. Question that presents a specific but relatable problem. Confident statement that handing this organization money will solve your problems. Overstating how good life will feel when you relieve yourself of said money to buy something you don't need. Where to find the product. Where to find the product. Restating how good life will feel. Where to find the product, but slower. Transition statement for returning to the podcast. Introduction statement that carefully highlights scholarship supporting the problem while ignoring evidence that contradicts the claim. Elaboration on a key aspect of the problem. Quote, overstatement of how universal this problem is. End quote, page number. Further emphasize that the author suggests that no solution to this problem existed before this study. Transition statement to method section. Summary of demographics of participants in study and the data collected. Quote, statement of inter-rater reliability, end quote, page number. Transition statement for the next header in the paper. Quote, key finding number 1, end quote, page number. Clarification statement for anyone who is unfamiliar with what that means. Paraphrasing key finding number 2. Anecdotal statement of surprise at the finding. Expression of curiosity for how that might apply in other contexts. Transition statement for the conclusion. Quote, brief summary of findings of the study. Overstatement of implications as it relates to the posed problem. Express that although the study solved all of the problems in this context, more research is needed in other areas. End quote, page numbers. Disclaimer that I enjoyed the paper, but like to raise questions when reading scholarship. Well-intentioned but pointed question that goes against implications of the study and the typical discourse within the field. Further problematizing of the statements by the authors. Reflective question encouraging listeners to consider implications in their context. Stock transition statement to the close of this episode. Encourage people to check out the show notes and share with a friend. Remind everyone that a new episode releases each week and wish everyone well. Disclaimer that this episode was an April Fool's joke.